Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. We are live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. That is the radio flagship home of the Dallas Cowboys. Tonight, I'm joined by DallasCowboys.com's Patrick Walker. As always, we've got the three-time Super Bowl champ and six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton. And our special guest this evening is one of the most successful athletes in the history of the state of Texas. He won back-to-back state. Listen to the resume. See if you can dispute it. He won back-to-back state championships at West Orange Stark High School, where he was all-state defense and offense his senior season. He lettered in 3 other sports during his time there. He passed on the opportunity to play receiver at LSU and went to play cornerback for R.C. Slocum and the Texas A&M Aggies, where he was a 3-time All-Southwestern Conference selection and a 1991 All-American. He then went on to be a first-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys in 1992 and would go on to win 3 Super Bowl titles, become an All-Pro selection, and he still occupies a large cut of real estate in Jerry Rice's head. I'm talking about Kevin Pup Smith. Kevin, Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Man, thank you, man.
I'm happy to be here with you, Nate.
AI is at its finest, man. That artificial intelligence, man. You can just put anything and fill it in place. What you say about that, no C?
And listen, man, I saw the man's career. It was not artificial, but it was intelligent.
Look, this is if you want to talk about at every level of football in the state of Texas.
Yes.
West Orange High School, Texas A&M, the Dallas Cowboys. Again, you had the highest individual honors, you had the highest team honors possible at just like every level of the sport. When you hear it run through like that, the decorated resume, does it ever just kind of astound you? Like, man, I can't believe just how much has occurred or how much I've gone through throughout my career.
Well, I've never left the state of Texas. You know, that's the good thing. I grew up in the Houston area, of course, Beaumont, Orange, Texas, and the funny thing about it, when I first got here with the Cowboys, I was 165, 175 pounds as the first-round draft pick.
Fast, too.
So when I walked in the locker room, you know, it was James Washington and Nate and Isaac Holt and some of the guys that were like, you know, had been in the league a while. Yeah. They were like, is this our first-round draft pick? Jimmy, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so, you know, so the one thing about it, when I got here, I learned real fast that you had to buy into the guys that worked the hardest here. And you had to buy into the guys that, you know, it was Tony Tolbert and it was Moose Johnson. I mean, you guys saw the Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And it was Troy, Emmett, and Mike.
Yes.
And, you know, a little bit of Haley. But really and truly, the reason that we were so successful was we had guys like Kenny Gant, Bill Bates, Tony Tolbert. You know, all these guys are unsung guys, myself. Darren Woodson was not even a person back then. You know, Tony Casillas and Leon Letts. Those are the guys that were the reason we won the Super Bowls, because we weren't the star guys, but we were the guys that matched the effort that Mike put in and Troy put in and Emmett. And of course, Nate, you know, Nate had his weight struggles and everything else.
Every year, baby.
Every year. You know,
was the enemy.
But he finished them 110s, which was our measuring plate. So it was just great to be a part of that organization, coming from Texas A&M, Jackie Sherrill, and R.C. Slocum, and winning state championships with an Orange. So that win is the only guy I can probably say that I know that played for the Cowboys, played for A&M, and then also played high school football. Then he's got a notch. He's from Vietnam, so he came. Yeah. He actually got over here in a strange way.
I know this is actually, we just talked about how you lettered in 3 other sports. There's track, baseball, basketball.
Yes, sir.
You obviously played both sides of the ball. So you were a phenomenal athlete. I just found out a piece of information today that I need verified about Nate, though.
Oh.
Nate, is it true that I heard today that in high school you were your team's kicker?
Yeah, I kicked a little bit.
You kicked in high school?
What?
So, look, we've got a guy who's a full-fledged athlete. I heard a rumor you were a kicker in high school.
Yeah, I did a little kicking. No, but I want to ask you this question.
Well, hold on, Nate. Let me ask you this question.
No, Nate Butter Newton over
I was going to say
here.
you cleared the path for Butter Aubrey.
Hey, Patrick.
That's
Patrick, how old are you, Patrick?
I'm 45.
Okay, so you might be old enough to know. Nate, you kicked with that black shoe with the string pulled up.
I was sidewinding.
With the square toe.
You were the barefoot kicker.
But you are a part of the original Wrecking Crew?
So the Wrecking Crew, Nate, actually started a couple of years before me.
Right.
It was Chet Brooks, who you may know.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's his name? I'm blank on it now. He played with the 49ers, got hurt.
Yeah.
But those guys were the original wrecking crew. I came in about 2 years after they had started it, and then but we had a little bit more speed and talent on the edges.
That's right.
And so John Roper, Aaron Wallace, William Thomas,
those are beasts, bro. These are beasts
Quentin
in college.
Coriat, of course.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn came along, and that became the true wrecking crew.
Yes.
But it started a little bit with Chet Brooks, and God, my mind is blank right now.
You'll get it. When you get it, just holler it out, man. What you got for him?
Jeff Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Jeff Fuller.
Yes, sir.
You know Jeff Fuller.
Yeah. What you got for him? What you got for him, see?
My question, first and foremost, is, this is a man who excelled in multiple positions, right? So when you look at it from your standpoint, looking at it from a more recency standpoint, my question is, why do you think in today's NFL, there are fewer players that are not necessarily able, because I think the level of athleticism allows certain players to be able to pull what a Travis Hunter is doing. Right. Why do you think not many players try to do that anymore? It seems like after prime, you don't really playing both ways.
It's tough, man. It's just the preparation on it, trying to figure out the tendencies on both sides of the ball. It's hard enough to figure out it on one side of the ball. Yeah. To figure out what your receiver opponent, if I'm a DB, who I'm covering that day, to cover him for 60 or 70, 80 plays, down and distance, their tendencies, what they're trying to do. And then I'm trying to jump on offense. I could be a special guy on offense, meaning a few plays, but you can't. I don't really think there's no one, and Nate knows this.
Yeah.
There's no one that can actually master playing both sides of the ball 120 plays, not in the NFL. You're not going to last long. You're just not. You really one hit away, or one. Just like my guy Mike Evans the other day has been an Iron Man for years. Yeah. He's a deep ball post. He lands on his shoulder, breaks his collarbone. He's out for
and a serious concussion.
And a concussion.
Yes, serious.
You just don't know what you're one play away. So, to play 120 plays or even 80 plays a game, you're just asking too much of, especially a young player. But it's just really the preparation and being prepared to actually do it, not the physical part of it.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Kevin Smith here on Cowboys Crosstalk. Nate, go ahead.
We was here for prime, and first of all, and I'm not joking.
And prime is the greatest.
You got to be a supreme athlete first. That's first. And second, you got to have a supreme thought process, because prime had them figured out what routes you can run and what situation. Pup did too. Right. They figured out, he out here on the hash. He can't run with so many things because they were man corners. Yeah. True man corners. Yeah. Not no, we gonna fake it. We walking up there and getting in your grill. So now you can play. If you are a true man corner, you can probably go on the other side for a few snaps. Yeah. But if you zoning up and all this, you got to know most of us deals. You better
play more snaps over there.
Yeah.
What was that? And in general, you guys were man corners. What was kind of the defensive philosophy under Jimmy that you guys played, and then obviously as the years progressed and you got under
different corners? We were basic as it comes, man. We ran four up front, 3 linebackers, and we ran what they call quarters, which was corners was basically man-to-man. Dan Woodson and James Washington lined up about 8 yards from the line of scrimmage, and we protected the post on the corner, and they protected the run. They told us we didn't have help on that corner. I'm on the post. You had to protect the post. There's 2 things in football that if you don't protect the post, you're going to get cut.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't pay your taxes, you're in trouble.
You're going to jail.
Because you play in every state. People don't know this. We play in every state, and you got to pay taxes in every state if they got a state tax.
Yeah.
A lot of guys didn't know that. Remember that, Nate? But the point is that we played just a basic defense, and then when we try to get too fancy, when we try to do some fancy things and it didn't work, the next week we went straight back to basic defense. We call it switch, or I forgot what they call it up front, base switch. And that was the coverages. And if it was a combination coverage, if it was a twins one way, we ran 3. If it was a balanced coverage, we ran switch. So we ran man-to-man with zone coverages underneath with our linebackers.
So Pup, do you think that, obviously offenses are so much more complex, especially with analytics and how they operate. So to a degree, defenses nowadays have to kind of match serve, but there is a lot of talk about some defenses and some defensive coordinators that kind of overthink and they over-scheme. Do you think that's the case?
I think they over-scheme from the standpoint of when they blitz packages.
Okay.
And then what happens is the rules have changed right now. If you look at the NFL, when the big plays happen, there's a lot of pick routes. Mm-hmm. And I think the officiating has changed to the point to where where we would be able to hold a guy and grab a guy. I wouldn't let nobody pick Deion.
Yeah.
But now they call that.
Right.
It's almost like if you watch the game, it's like every other play, someone's injured or there's a penalty flag. It's like the games are just stretched so long because, I'm not saying the referees are favoring one team or another, but it just kills the game that they're not allowing them to play as much. But it gives the offense an advantage because the defensive backs, the rub routes, you can't hold on to a guy. You got to go run around it.
Yeah.
So that pick route, if it's not called, then that's why you see guys running up the sidelines on short catches.
It's geared for the offense.
It's geared for the offense.
Geared,
100%.
It's geared for the offense.
It's legislated for the offense.
Yeah.
Let's take our first break of the day. When we come back, I want to leave you just with a quick question because you talk about how defenses scheme things up differently today if it's over-schemed. There's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about man coverage here in Dallas, and they played a lot more this past weekend, and we'll get into some of the specifics of the game. But I'm curious, and something for you to think on while we're in the break, if you guys were able to play simpler coverages because of the talent that you had, and if you've got lesser parts, do you need to start scheming up a little bit more of that? We're going to talk about that when we come back here with Kevin Smith on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Clear.
Go Cowboys!
SWBC customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We're coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 through the Fan. I've got DallasCowboys.com's Patrick Walker here with me. As always, we've got the three-time Super Bowl champ, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton, and our Cowboys alumni this evening is three-time Super Bowl champ and All-Pro Kevin Smith. Kevin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
And before we jump back into some of the discussion we're having, I know you guys had a cool event last weekend at the game. It was an alumni day. A lot of players from 60s, 70s, just every decade over there, and I'm sure you guys got to see some friends you hadn't seen in a while. How was that experience?
It was unbelievable because my father was a diehard Cowboy fan, and Bob Hayes is his number one person in the world. You know, Bob Hayes, Bullet Hayes, ran the Olympics, Florida A&M, and so my father never really watched me play football in person. He always listened to the game on the radio. Okay. So one of the first games when I got drafted in '92, he came to a game, and Mike Tyson had a fight, and we were at the Cowboy Cafe, Nate.
Right.
And it was a Friday night, and he met Bob Bullet Hayes. And that just the world. And my father only watched me play one Cowboy game in person and one A&M game in person because he always, even the Super Bowls. But so all the Cowboy guys like Cliff Harris, Bob Brunick, Fitzgerald, Mark Washington, I saw this weekend. These guys, Preston Pearson was there and looking the best in the world. I thought he had makeup on because, Preston is 80-something years old.
80 years old, man.
I mean, these guys were just remarkable. And the one thing I tell the young Cowboys is you got to know your history. Mm-hmm. It's like picking up that edge blocker. You don't walk past Tony Dorsett. You don't walk past Bob Brunick. How you doing, Mr. Fitzgerald? How you doing, Mr. Harris? I'm Kevin Smith. Oh, I remember you, but no, I know you. Right. That's the respect and the history that Nate knows that. That I don't think the young guys understand because it's a lot of statues out there, and I woke up today, and it's a lot of 30-foot digs, and these guys hadn't won Super Bowls. When I got to the Cowboys, the only statues I saw was Bob Lilly and Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson. Those guys had established and won things. And I know the marketing is great, Jerry, but sometimes when these guys drive to work and they see they 30-foot, they can have a terrible game. But when they drive into work, they see this terrible game. This 30-foot billboard,
that's real specific, Nate.
Subliminally, that's not the thing I grew up on. And I've seen guys walk in the room and see a running back walk in the room and see Tony Dorsett and not go speak to him. No, stop what you're doing and go speak to Tony Dorsett. Right. But I think this weekend was the first time they did decades of legends.
Yes.
And it just put all of us together from the 60s through the 2020s. Vanderich was there and Brady James and, and these guys Big Hatcher.
Ooh, that's a big man.
Big Leon Lett was there, the 90s guys. And, guys gravitated to each other, but it was also great for us to go talk to the older guys and meet some of the guys that played after us.
How big has that been? Because I think you listen to some of the older Cowboys. I think Drew said this before, where he's like, early on we felt kind of a disconnect when Jerry took over. We felt like our decade and the present day there was kind of a disconnect. And Drew's like, he's done a lot to like repair it and to bring us back around. And now with Brian Schottenheimer here, it feels like Schotty's really trying to emphasize making sure you understand who kind of laid the foundation. I know Schotty was giddy a couple weeks back. He got to meet Roger Staubach for the first time, and it was like a kid out there. But is that something that specifically you think, like, at this point in time, that's about as healthy as a relationship as the organization has had with just all of its history?
Nate got this because he was a part of that transition of the coaching change. So Nate answered that great.
A lot of guys felt left out, man. But when Coach Schottenheimer and Emily Robinson Cruz put this thing together, I was like, wow, it's been 20, 30 years, man, that we really got together, and it was about the players. It was, a brief moment. I've been talking to a couple of the guys now who prepared this to make it even better if we do it next year. Right. It'll be a bigger program, because it was for guys that played for us for 6 years.
Yeah, 6+ years.
Yeah, so we missed a lot of horses, man.
Right.
Because, I told like 4 or 5 guys, they just only played 4 years. And they're like, man, they leaving me out. And I'm like, oh, what I'm creating here.
Right.
So now I'm telling them, hey, at least got to be 4. If the guy played 4, give him a shot of coming back. And because this thing can be big. It can be big for the fans. Believe me, I'm working on it behind the clothes to make this thing way bigger than what it is, man. And that way, maybe these young guys can see how it's supposed to be done or get some idea. I ain't talking about players coming back, walking on the field, talking about, well, I played. Yeah, come on, dog. Come on, dog. You stabbing folks in the throat and everything. They can't do that now.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, both you guys make an excellent point. I think that, whether it be in life or football or whatever the case may be, there needs to be this constant thread that connects the present to the past because, that's how you get a lot of information exchange and the wisdom that, like, you guys already know how to navigate certain situations both on and off the field. That's priceless information that if the young guys tap in with you guys, that you'd be more than willing to impart upon them. So, but then at the same time, when they're talking to guys like Nate, they're talking to guys like Pup, and they're talking to some of these legends from the 90s who have jewelry, they start to also understand the standard.
Yes.
Right?
True.
So it's easier to understand the standard when the standard is standing next to you having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, man, what's most amazing, because Emily was with us. We went upstairs, and I was with Leon Lett, and of course Charles was there running his mouth, and
he forced his way in.
Yeah, but
not Charles. I can't believe it, Charles.
But the thing about it was, we were just talking about how simple it was. And Nate knows this. We were in dorm rooms, in makeshift. What they call them, little units, Nate?
Yeah.
The little window units. I mean,
Yeah.
the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, my meeting room in training camp was a hut with a window in it, with a window unit in it, in the back of the dorm.
A little Catholic sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have the fancy hotel and the nice weather in Oxnard. We were in 100-degree weather, and we were in St. Ed's, and I think they had mold in those dorms because I struggled every summer. I struggled with my asthma. I don't have asthma, but they had a pump for me. But it doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes chemistry, camaraderie, guys that really care and love each other, and that's what we had, Nate. We had a group of guys that really bought into each other, and the guys that didn't. When I got here, you had the guys that said they played like they were professional football players. They dressed the part. They went to the club and all that. But that wasn't the guy to follow. The guy that we followed was the guy that was on the practice field, in the weight room. And Moose said it best. We were good because the best guys worked the hardest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's why we were so good, Nate.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about in the last segment playing more man coverage and some of the things they did. And that was something you said that your team did a lot of. I'm trying to remember what the exact numbers. I believe on the roster when you guys won the first Super Bowl, there were 27 players who either had been a Pro Bowler at one point in their career or would go on to become a Pro Bowler at some point in their career. 27 players on the roster, which is just an absurd amount. So when you guys play that level and you guys clearly have a lot of talent, is it easier for you guys to say, well, we can line up with teams like that because of the type of talent that we had? You're going to have to play a little bit more zone if you've got some areas of deficiency or you're trying to mask some things. Or is it just like, no, you know what? Live and die by can you execute? Go out there, play man coverage. How do you look at that?
Well, we won a lot because that's why when you win, you get Pro Bowlers, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that's an easy equation. But we had a mentality that we were going to take the wheel of the other team, and we challenged each other. Nate challenged us. Nate would be in practice challenging me about Chris Carter the next week. What are you going to do against Chris Carter? I'm like, what you going to do about Reggie White if you come in there and get that 3 technique?
No, we get tossed.
What you going to do about Jerome Brown before he, rest in peace?
Before he passed, Lord. Jesus.
What you going to do about them guys? Nate, don't worry about me. So we challenge each other every week. And, again, we didn't know how good we were. Jimmy had us. We thought we could run through a wall. And every guy tried to match. We had this deal. And Nate remember this. We called it the milk truck.
Yeah.
And if beep, 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 if someone said beep, beep, beep to you, that means you wasn't carrying your weight. That means you were on the milk truck. And
it was the BFF, the garbage. Remember the garbage truck?
Yeah.
And you hear go out of the bang when it's lifting up the
Yeah,
dump in the trash. That was the bang. It was the BFF garbage truck. I remember that.
Yeah, and subliminally, so the way we got our paychecks back then was that I'm sure they had direct deposits, but Nate knows this. We had to walk through the coaches' offices.
That's right.
Past our coordinators.
Yeah.
Past Jimmy's office.
Right.
Through Jerry's office.
Right.
And then in the back room was a guy, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
He would hand you your check.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So then you had to walk back. So if you had a bad game that week,
if
that coordinator was
them doors be open.
Hey, Pump, let me holler at you.
Yeah.
Hey, Nate.
Yeah. That's a nice check, Nate. Son. Earn it.
What you do for it?
Subliminally, Jimmy did that. He made us have to. You picked up that check. You had to earn it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't direct deposit. It wasn't that easy. And I did that for 9 years, Nate. I don't know
Me
that
too.
I was there.
I wasn't direct deposit neither.
Yeah, you had to pick your check up. And so that was just a message of us. You had to perform. If you had a bad game, you didn't walk through there in confidence going to pick that check up. So you had to come back and practice, or you had to come back in the next week in that game and redeem yourself because you had to answer to not only your teammates but to the organization.
Was there ever a time that you came off of a bad day at the office as far as game-wise and you kind of held off a couple of days on picking up that check?
I left some checks over there. Hey, you would leave a check there.
Yeah, but you know it's going to be there.
It's going to be there. You would leave the check
Just
there.
let it simmer for a second.
Yeah. The thing
You
is,
said it, Patrick. You would leave that check there.
And the thing is, Jimmy had full control. So he did not draft a player that did not fit what he wanted.
Exactly.
That's why I don't understand how we got this, how it becomes a discrepancy with coaches. You always hear, Bobby, you've been working with me forever, and the first thing you hear me say is, won't these guys at least do what this man asking them first?
Yeah.
At least don't rebel until you try it.
Right.
You know, because he's under fire, you under fire. You know, we got the media, 100,000 more media members, so you got a torn, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and another thing, it's called ability alignment. You know, if you know you slower than that guy, why you pressing?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Ike Hope was a press corner. I played with Ike Hope when he was young. When Pup came, Pup had what we call new speed. You know, you wasn't going to run away from it. It just wasn't finna happen. Well, Ike realized that this kid had this new speed. Well, Ike, you know, he kind of back up a little bit now. Because I'm telling you, I remember we was playing the 49ers, and Jerry saw Ike on him, and Jerry did this.
He ran the post route.
Just took off, and man, Ike, boy, his legs got shot. Jimmy said, put that boy Pup in there and don't let him come out. And he started ever since, man.
Oh, that is the voice of Nate Newton. We got Kevin Smith with us tonight.
And I love me some Ike Hope, but
Ike, my boy. Ike's great.
Patrick Walker from DallasCowboys.com is with us as well. This is the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. When we come back, we're going to take our second break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about that game on Sunday. The Cowboys get a big victory over Washington, and a little bit later we'll look ahead to Denver. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Coleman.
Go Cowboys!
What the pros use. Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. Welcome back to the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. Coming to you live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, dallascowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 through the Fan. We've got Patrick Walker from dallascowboys.com. Nate Newton, Cowboys great here with us, and our Cowboys alumni this evening is none other than Kevin Smith.
Thank you.
And every week, it doesn't matter how bleak things look. I know that when I throw it to Nate for a prediction, Nate, what's the score going to be?
We're going to win by 1 point.
By one?
1 point.
By one?
There you go.
We're gonna get him by one. You got him by more than that on Sunday when the Washington Commanders came to town. Dallas with a 44-22 victory. Not only a big victory if you just want to talk about statement wins within the division and a team that when you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, you probably did not peg that as a victory right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But a really big-time convincing performance from the offense and a good response from the defense after a couple weeks of real tough PR for that unit.
Right.
Kick things off. You guys were both in attendance. Kevin, what did you think in general about this game and how they performed?
Offense took the ball down the field the first drive, got in the end zone, and from that point on, that was the energy that they needed. Washington's banged up big time, but Dak is probably the best player in the league right now. I mean, Dak is putting the ball on the spot. You know, CD coming back, the running game. You know, as long as we don't turn the ball over, and you know, we got the best kicker in the game, but we don't want to rely on field goals.
Sorry, Nate.
Yeah. We do have the best kicker in the game.
But do you see what he just said?
Yeah.
But we don't want to rely on that.
Do you see what champions say? He said, we got the best kick in the game.
Without
but
doubt.
We do not
Want to rely on him.
repeat,
I agree.
want to rely on that.
Brian
Right.
Schottenheimer said it a couple weeks ago. He said he acknowledged, he was like, you love having the weapon. You need to make sure you're guarding against, am I too comfortable calling stuff here? Because I'm just like, yeah, we got the points.
Right.
And like you do have to guard against making sure, all right, don't feel comfortable just because you got the kicker. Let's try to score touchdowns.
Right. Yeah, but we scored touchdowns this week. And then
Yes.
we had a defensive touchdown
There it
with
is.
Bland. So the defense showed up. Everything was clicking, right? And it wasn't that Washington wasn't playing real bad. The Cowboys played good football.
Yeah.
But consistency.
There it is. That's the word.
Week after week, do you get that? Is that the same team that's going to show up in Denver next week? And Nate would tell you this: we would go on a run, and sometimes we needed the game to kick us in the butt, so we know, hey, we're doing too much. But we hadn't seen that over the last 8 to 10 years. Can the Cowboys put 4 or 5 or 6 in a row?
Do y'all know what
Those are
doing
the
too
teams.
much is?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Do y'all know what doing too much?
Tell them what doing too much is, Nate.
Nah, I ain't gonna tell them.
You gotta, come on, you gotta
say it. Nah, I just asked y'all, did y'all know?
Say it with your chest.
Nah. But go ahead on, Pump. I mean, I cut you off. What you saying?
No. You got it from here on out, Nate. Doing too much is really was some of that Netflix stuff y'all saw. When you get Troy Aikman used to say it the best. We can't get too high and never get too low.
Yeah.
But if you get too high, you start riding that wave.
Literally.
Because after every victory, you want to go out and have a good time.
Nate.
You want to have a good time, and guys do it, and we did it. We
got
had
too high?
a good time, huh?
You got too high?
We all got too high.
Nate said read between the lines.
Yeah, what they're saying is that their confidence got a little too high.
Yeah.
Clean it up, Bobby.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Their confidence got a little too high. They started, and you got a little too comfortable.
I don't
Nate,
indulge.
the
I drink tea.
Nate, the football game on Sunday. Cowboys get a big victory over Washington. In general, your thoughts on what you saw? Run game bounced back in a big way this week.
Yes, sir. That's what that will have to carry us. That protects the defense. That protects Dak. Definitely. And it's going to have to flourish that way. I keep it real. Good victory. Good team victory. And that, I leave it at that because what you finna face coming up, it is for real if you watch the film.
Something serious.
It's been a long time. We talked about it. It's been a long time since there's been a Super Bowl victory around these parts. The wild thing, the most wild stat to me heading into this week is the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than they've beaten the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
They beat the Broncos that same year, 95. That may have been week 2. That may have been after the Giants opener that year. And, in fact, the last time they beat Denver on the road was 92. It was the 92 regular season when Tommy Maddox and the Virginia quarterback, they were in there alternating like every snap or every series. Yeah. So it's been a long time. So you're right. This is going to be a big test here. And obviously Sean Payton on the other sideline. There's a lot of meaning to this game coming to this one. But taking care of business right there in a week where a lot of criticism on the defense and a lot of criticism on coaching decisions and why did you do this here? Why did this look so flat? I'm curious about one thing from both of you, because this is something that I've seen this season that I find fascinating. The Cowboys in this game in particular and in a couple other games this year have shown an ability to score quickly at the end of the first half on a couple different occasions. Green Bay, they scored 2 touchdowns in the final minute. Jets, 2 touchdowns in the final minute. They, in a flash, get down the field. They get sacked. I think previous coaching staffs here, the last 3 of them probably are kneeling it after the sack. They don't. They push the ball down the field. Pickens makes the great catch. Javonte with the run. What is it, do you think about those situations, those 1-minute situations, that they've got this comfort level right now, this play calling groove right now, that it's like we can comfortably move down the field in 70 yards in 45 seconds and not be concerned with it?
Well, I think you can be aggressive in a stupid way, or you can be aggressive in a calm way. And I think what the Cowboys are doing is that it's all about possessions. It's about, how many yards can you gain? If you get the yards on first down or second down, then you can try something else. But you just can't be you can't go for it on fourth down all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I think what we're doing is that I think he's doing a great job of really managing the game and knowing that you got that kicker. See, the problem with teams are that they know if you get the ball to the 50-yard line, then there's a possibility of a field goal.
Right.
When I played, you had to get the ball down to the 30-yard line.
That's right.
So that 20 yards is a different mentality because those teams, when you play the Cowboys, is different than when you play the other 31 teams because your 2-minute defense thinks totally different than when you play a team that – because I don't want to give up no points before the half. But you end up giving up 7 points because you're worried about the threat of that kicker. Yeah. And I think Shad is taking advantage of that. Basically, what you guys heard from him is that I want the 7, and if I can get the 7, I'll take the 7.
I think it's – go ahead, Big Nate.
The thing is this simply this right here, fellas. And I'm going to tell you what Barry Swiss will tell you. When you went and got Pickens, it's all over. Like he said, on first down, if I get anything over 10 yards on first down, my offense is still wide open.
It's wide open.
Now, when I throw this thing again on 1st and 10, and I hit you for 20, I'm going for the touchdown. Yeah. I ain't thinking about the field goal. I was thinking about this field goal.
I was thinking about that field goal.
But now I'm going for the touchdown.
And I know I got the field goal.
Because for the first time in Dak's career, he got 2 veteran wide receivers that are playing lights out. Dak has never had that. And this is what people don't understand. He's never had that. He got it now. Yeah.
I think a lot of it also goes to just, when you look at Schottenheimer, I feel like as much reverence as he rightfully has for Mike McCarthy, you can kind of see Schottenheimer. It feels like he's trying to take his jacket off, for lack of a better way to put it, right? Where it's just like a lot of these 4th down conversions, it's not always even 4th and short. It's like 4th and 4, 4th and 5, where I think that they're lining up to try to draw the other team off sides. They snap the ball. And I'm in the press box like, Shotty.
They shot
Okay. So I just think by nature, Shotty wants to be more aggressive. And it's working more often than not. And then you look at, you take that sack, like you said. If this is McCarthy, if this is Jason Garrett, they probably kneel and say, we'll try this again in the second half.
Right.
But then what happens? Shotty dials up the play. Dak drops back, takes the shot with George Pickens. George Pickens does what? Wide receiver 1 things, right? Because like they said, Dak now has 2 wide receiver 1s in their prime and still under the age of 25. It's crazy.
Is that game different if they don't score the touchdown? That felt like a lot of momentum for Washington. They get the touchdown. If you kneel it down, Washington's getting the ball starting out of the second half. That could have easily, if they are able to then move down the field. Do you think it did anything to sap anything?
No. This was Dallas game. This was Dallas game. The thing that I like is Coach Schottenheimer, and he's slick about it. But he always thinking about. He realized that his defense is not at par, and that's got to be put into effect.
Yeah.
So he got to be a little bit more aggressive. You let this defense get good. I don't know how, but you let them get good. You'll see something. Yeah.
Coming back.
Don't do that.
Hey,
you know that dude
Nate,
gonna need some time. Come on,
sure,
don't do that.
Sure. But Nate, you got Overshown come back. Okay, there's that. Shamar James is playing a little better. Okay. Clowney looked like he was knocking off some of the rust. Nate, I'm just trying to give you some options. That's it.
James Houston's playing
How much we got in this segment? How much time we got in this segment?
You want to wrap here and we can come back for a longer segment?
We finished.
All right, let's wrap and we'll come back for a
dog
longer.
cuss me
Let's take our final break and let's hear it from Nate Newton.
You sound like the quarterback from Miami Hurricane. Throwing all them interceptions.
When we come back,
talking college football.
when we come back, we're going to talk about the Texas A&M Aggies. We're going to talk about Carson Beck and how bad Carson Beck is.
But Georgia duped us.
Go Dogs.
And when we come back, we're going to get in. We're going to give Nate a chance to just breathe before he criticizes, and then we'll talk a little bit about this game against Denver coming up. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
I'll take Lance.
Go Cowboys!
SWBC customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. Welcome back to Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk, live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 through the Fan in Dallas. We've got DallasCowboys.com's Patrick Walker, the three-time Super Bowl champ, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton here, and our Cowboys alumni this evening is three-time Super Bowl champ and All-Pro Kevin Smith. And also, I know you said we weren't going to do college. We're not going to do college, but he is a proud A&M alum. They're the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah.
So just would you like to spike the football real quick on A&M's behalf?
I'm spiking it right now. We're going to LSU this weekend. So I will say this. I gave Nate a hat tonight.
Look at that. Hey, you got the Aggie emblem.
Put it on,
shirt.
Nate. Let me see if it fits.
My son a Longhorn. I am not.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. You know what? Look at here, man.
Yeah.
Georgia, I hate you.
We love you too.
You gave us Carson. I went to Florida A&M.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But I've
been
been always down with Miami, the Luke Skywalker, the Michael Irvins, and all of that right there.
Your fault.
You know what I'm saying? And here we go, pay this kid all this money for them
Congratulations.
5 interceptions.
Congratulations.
Not one, not
Nate,
2.
you left off Magic City.
Ooh, don't even talk about it.
Okay, we won't talk about
The
it.
wings are really good.
So, lemon pepper.
Remember, doing too much? What was the
Doing too
question?
much, right?
Doing
Yeah,
too much? Okay, all right.
Doing too much. There you go. No, but A&M looking.
That wasn't Magic City. That was Atlanta, right?
Yeah, that was
Magic City's
Atlanta.
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 It was so many polls.
Magic
You
City's
think- so many polls.
The one in Miami was called.
I know the name. I know the name, but I ain't saying it.
All right.
I ain't saying it.
So
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that again.
You know
football.
about that? You know
Football.
about that?
There's a football team that we're
You know
here.
about that, Bobby?
The Dallas Cowboys play the
let him
Denver
trick you off
Broncos.
your spot.
The Dallas Cowboys play the Denver Broncos this weekend. Now, Nate, the thing that I keep seeing is the defense. You're hoping for some stability. It feels like with the way this offense is playing right now, if you have a even slightly below average defense or an average defense,
Can give us a number, 22?
20th to 20 to 22nd in the NFL.
Okay.
This feels like it could be a 14-win team just because of how powerful the offense is and how difficult a matchup that they are. You were just saying it before the break. I don't know how it happens, but if you can make it happen and get the defense to kind of to rest in place.
I asked the
how's that?
question, you're right.
So as we come back to that and we look at it, how realistic is it? How many of these things do you think they can take from Washington and apply moving forward, and Pup, you as well? What can you take from this and apply moving forward? Or is it just, this is a week-to-week game plan thing, and that was just what it was for Washington? You got to look at it differently moving forward.
It's an identity game. Can we go on the road and take what we building, if it's building, and go and beat Denver? And it doesn't matter how you win. It doesn't take but 1 point to come out of there and win. But can you do enough to go out there and beat the Denver Broncos? And that's all that matters. So are the teams evenly matched? I think they are. I mean, offensively, if we play our game and if we play a little bit better on defense, we'll be okay. But the point is, can we each week consistently get better and better and win on the road just as well as we can win at home? And that's all that matters.
Jimmy used to always ask us, how do you play when a team is equal or better, than you?
Yeah.
First of all, you don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
You don't have dumb penalties.
Yep.
No pre-snap penalties at all.
Yep.
You got to play
You gotta win the
perfect
special
football,
team.
and you got to win special. When you go on the road, he always challenges us to win 2 aspects: special teams, offense, defense. But he always put defense,
Yep.
special team, defense. Okay, because that was his thing. You got defense travels, run game travels. Everything else you have to rally to.
Right.
This is a run game, obviously, that features Javonte Williams, who had a nice bounce back this week. Javonte has got a homecoming this week going back to Denver for this game, a team that had decided they were okay with him leaving via free agency. He ends up in Dallas and is having a great year so far. Patrick, I know you were in locker room today. Javonte was speaking. So what were some of his thoughts about this matchup coming up and his return to Denver?
Well, you would love the soundbite for him to match the buckle up that Rico dropped.
That's all he needed to say.
He was given the opportunity.
He passed
He passed
He
on
didn't
it.
take the layup. He didn't take the layup. He didn't take the layup. Now, if
That's
you're
all he needed to say,
right,
Patrick.
and I was going to say, if you're a Broncos fan, that might scare you, right?
Right.
Because silence is scarier.
Just say, let's ride. Just do that.
But, Javonte, he's excited to go back, and obviously he has kind of a leg up even over his teammates because what I asked Javonte was about the altitude, and you guys know playing in the altitude, what kind of advice he can give his teammates, and he spoke about that a little bit. But this is, speaking of Javonte, this is how, in addition to what Big Nate is saying, no self-inflicted wounds. Don't put yourself behind the chains. Don't dig a hole that going to have a hard time digging yourself out of.
34 sacks they have.
Number 1 in the league in sacks, QB hits, and pressures. This is why Javonte Williams is going to win you this game, okay? Because this is how you're going to neutralize that pass rush. This is how you're going to make the secondary play honest and those defensive backs second guess if it's going to be a handoff or it's going to be a play action, and Dak excels off of the play action. So Javonte, he's ready to go back. I think that between the lines of what he's saying, I think he wants to prove to the Broncos that they made a mistake by not offering him an opportunity to come back, or at least not valuing him enough to give him an offer that he felt was justified. So I think he's going to go and he's going to roll with a chip on his shoulder.
Had on this past week?
Which outfit?
Javonte Williams had his leather jacket on and leather pants.
Oh, not the leather?
It's too hot for that, Nate.
But he was doing it. He was doing it.
I know it's October, but it's too hot for that.
Bruh, hey.
This is one of the things we like to talk about with, because Nate's obviously a big fan of the run game and imposing your will.
Of wearing leather.
I did.
Hold on.
I threw down leather a couple of times. That leather got hot, man.
So
Man, he was sweating. He was warming up before he got in the stadium.
So you need to stretch. No, I'm good.
You can hear Nate coming with that leather on.
Oh, you think Velcro.
So, Pup, who was for example, the most physically imposing running back you felt like you guys played in your day?
Oh man, you gotta remember the nightmare. Okoye.
Christian Okoye.
Yes, sir.
So a Christian Okoye or whoever else, it could be Jerome Bettis or just
Jerome
another physical runner.
Barry Ward.
When we,
Word, what was his name now?
When we
Rodney Hampton was Charles Hayden
Rodney
talked about
Hampton,
Rodney
yeah.
Hampton.
Man, Rodney Hampton, boy.
He never ran out of bounds. That was a Scott
He'll leave
report.
you with a headache, boy.
Yeah.
So when you've got a guy like Javonte Williams who you feel like he's got that kind of, not obviously the same type of player, but in terms of he's a guy who looks for contact, wants to punish you, always falling forward, doing those sort of things. How frustrating is it when you're just preparing for a game and you're thinking like, man, this is going to be a fight, just even having to tackle this guy.
I'm like Darren Woodson. If you don't get your butt there before me, then I'm talking to Darren Woodson.
You know, it used to be so funny, man.
Yeah, we didn't do a lot of.
This how close we were.
Yeah.
They would be like, you can hear, hey, Cat, look at here, Big Cat, look at Leon.
Don't let this dude get out there.
Don't let this dude get up on me. We used to talk to each other like that. Hey, man. Nate, y'all need to stay on the field because we don't want that.
We were talking about it. We played the Eagles one time, and they ran a screen. Right, it was 3rd and 40-something. They ran a screen to Herschel Walker, and man, the whole line was blocking me. I'm fending off everybody. Leon's telling the story, and we get in the locker room, and Leon's like, he tried to get your hands off me, Cat. I said, hell, everybody was blocking me. Rich coat tight, coach, everybody. I said, but hey, I didn't like the tackle, but anytime you have a running back that's physical and it can run the ball, you want him on your side of the ball as opposed to on his side. And Williams is definitely doing that. He doesn't go down on the first contact. He's always getting an extra 2 or 3 yards, and that's what's helping this offense. Yeah, big time.
So like Patrick was saying, that's the we hear the line sometimes. You have to earn the right to rush. You have to earn the right to rush the pass.
Yes.
Is that going to be a big that you need to make Denver earn that right this week?
They are holding teams down to 93 yards.
Yeah, they pretty good.
A game. Mm-hmm. The only people that got them was the Colts with
the Giants got them in the first half, though.
Yeah, but you know what? As the game went on, them were 4 blown plays.
Yes.
If you go look at the film, they had 4 bad plays, and every one of them was touchdowns.
Yeah.
But when they tighten up,
no.
That defense in Denver is something serious.
Yeah, they're one of the best in the league.
It's very tough, no doubt. Still, Nate, your pick for this week?
Hey, man, we got this thing, man, on a 71-yarder since y'all love the kick. We'll be down by 2 and going with that. Got to go 95 yards with 2 timeouts and
so down by 2,
left.
and so we got them by 1. Got them by 1.
Got them by 1. The hair is thin out there.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys.com's Patrick Walker. Thank you. Nate Newton, thank you to you as well. And, of course, our Cowboys alumni this evening, the All-Pro and this 3-time Super Bowl champ, Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back again next week, hopefully talking about a Cowboys victory over the Denver Broncos. Talk to you next week on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Stay off them poles.
Go Cowboys.
I'm home.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!